welcome to I See Bad Movies. Don't ask me why I did it like that.
I don't know.
Don't ask me. So I'm obviously one of your hosts, Dave Keane, and I'm joined by the wonderful, whimsical even, Emma Spicer.
Hi, whimsical.
Whimsical, yeah, I went with whimsical.
Okay.
Don't really know what it means, but I thought it sounded
start
good.
planning these intros out a little bit more.
Yeah, I know. But at least it was
Whimsical,
alliterative. Both had the same, both started with the same letters.
Yeah, alliteration.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, it was alliterative. Yeah,
Alliterative.
yeah. I mean, if I was really being clever, I'd find like words that began with an E,
Yeah.
and
You
I did
might run
once,
out quite
but I would run
quickly.
out quite quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, I could get a thesaurus.
We could do.
I mean, I've even got a phone in front of me. I could look
True.
up words.
You've got the internet in your
The
hand.
whole internet in my hand. This, Jen, is the internet. As a little throwback to the IT crowd for
I
everyone.
haven't watched that for a while.
No, I know. And we're not watching the IT crowd either. Do you know what we're watching tonight, Emma?
I do. We are watching Cruel.
Ooh. Now, this is a movie that neither of us has seen before.
No.
We've got no idea what to expect from it.
Well, we've got a little bit of an idea, haven't we?
Well, yeah, fair enough.
We've seen the cover artwork.
We've seen the
basically.
cover artwork, yeah. And this is obviously a season about killer animals.
Yes.
And I would always think of Crawl as something like creepy crawlies.
Yes, this is what surprised me because when you first, because you suggested this movie, I think, did you not?
Yeah, I think it came up in like a thing. It was like, oh, this is a movie about a particular killer animal,
Yeah,
a particular animal
but
in a situation.
Yeah, the name Crawl would make me think creepy crawlies. Yeah.
Yep, it does, but it's not.
No, it's not.
It's
at all.
really not. So, shall I go through the synopsis?
Yes.
So this is a 2019 movie, so it's quite new.
It's quite recent then.
Yeah, quite recent. Against all logic, competitive swimmer Haley drives into the mouth of a furiously destructive Category 5 hurricane on a collision course with her hometown of Florida. But the young woman is desperate to check in on her estranged father, Dave.
It's you.
It's me. Oh my God. Oh no.
You say that like it's just such a rare name that you you'd never hear it. Didn't we watch?
We've had loads of
a run of
Daves.
movies. Yeah, we watched a run of movies once, and everyone was called Dave, and we were like, "Why is there so many Daves in these movies?"
Oh, it's just such a simple name. Hey Dave. Hi Dave.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? Our generation had less names because it definitely really did, though, didn't it? Because everyone's like, you can probably pick 10 boys' names and 10 girls' names from our generation.
Yeah, that's true.
And like when I went to school, there was always about 10 other Emmas.
Yeah.
And that's why my kids have deliberately got more unusual names because I used to hate it. Everywhere I went, oh, you're Emma H and you're Emma.
Yeah.
Like.
See, I did
And they
that.
had to give you different names because you had like 3 Emmas in your class, so they had to come up with names for you.
I should say I didn't do that actually because there were so many Daves in my school that when my kids were like growing up, I thought I'll call them something different. And to be fair, out 3 out of the 4, there's not that many people that have got the same names. I mean,
Yeah.
they're quite common names. They're not, I haven't called my child India or anything like that. But my eldest, Emily, there was like 4 Emilys in her class in school. Yeah, she was the 5th one. But they thankfully, they all had different surnames. So there were Emily K, Emily J, Emily D.
Yeah, but it's annoying, isn't it? You just want to be called by your name, but then you can't because which Emma are you talking to?
Exactly, yeah. You've always got an initial mentioned after your name.
I bet you I can tell you at least 5 men's names that you'll know loads of that are your age.
Oh, 100%.
David, Steve.
Oh my God, yeah.
Christopher. Do you know any Christophers?
And actually, I know maybe 1 or 2 Chrissies, but not like many.
Dan.
Yeah.
Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel.
Martin. I had a couple of Martins
Not many
in my
Martins.
class. Oh, okay.
Loads of James.
Yeah,
Loads
I think
of
James
in
is a
mine,
name that's kind of gone through generations though, because you still get like young James as well, don't you? Like there's quite a
there's still quite a lot.
Kind of been going for a while, hasn't it?
But you don't get many. You don't get many young Davids anymore.
No.
I mean, certainly not in this room. Oh God, I'm so old. Shall I finish the synopsis?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Do.
Okay. All right. So she goes to check on her, desperate to check in on her estranged father, Dave. Instead, An alligator-infested town awaits her. Now trapped in the tangled mess of their flooded house's labyrinthine crawl space.
That's why it's called Crawl.
That's why it's called Crawl. The father and daughter must face an unexpected, unstoppable adversary. A merciless pair of 6-metre predators silently stalking them. As Haley and Dave gasp for air in the claustrophobic basement, only their will to survive can help them stand a chance against the powerful jaws of the scaly enemy. And the question remains, can they escape without being eaten alive?
I'm going to say yes, they probably can because they're the main characters.
I'm going to make a what's the word I'm looking for? Prediction. That's the word I'm looking for. Oh my goodness. I'm going to predict that Haley survives, but the estranged father Dave, in a act of like self-sacrifice to save his daughter.
Okay.
In a redeeming sort of thing for the estranged father.
Yeah.
That's what I reckon will happen. If it doesn't happen, I'll write a stiffly worded letter to the producers.
You will rewrite it.
I will rewrite it. So yeah, that's Crawl. So if you were writing a movie about killer alligators, would you name it after the crawl? Would you name the movie after the crawl space that they're in?
Because it doesn't give you any indication of what the movie's about at all.
No.
Like, you can crawl away from anything, can't you?
Yeah. I probably would not choose to crawl away from a alligator though.
No, well, no.
But you know. But see, this is the thing, right? Did it have any? It doesn't have any other names. You know, sometimes you see on IMDb that it's named, it's like also known as, but it doesn't have any different names.
I think most of the, because the movies we've watched this series particularly, we've got Piranha. There you go. You know it's about piranhas.
Yeah.
We've got Snakes on a Plane. There you go.
There you go. House Shark.
Why does my dog decide to be noisy every time we record?
He desperately wants to be in the podcast. That's the thing.
No, bless him.
Little Milo, bless him.
We've had we've been told by the title this is what this movie is.
Yeah, that's it.
Crawl.
Crawl doesn't really tell you anything about it. But I've just looked up what it was called in Brazil, and I love this name. Predadores Assassinos. Oh. Wow. What a great name. But also in Chile, Inferno en la Tormenta. Inferno en la Tormenta. That says to me like hell. That's like literal hell. I imagine that's the translation.
We can translate it if you like.
I'd imagine the literal translation is torment in fire. Yeah. In the fire. Or the torment in the fire.
That wouldn't make any sense either, would it?
Fire in the torment. But yeah, anyway,
it still doesn't make sense. No, it doesn't
but
tell you what
and especially if it's a like Category 5 hurricane, I can't imagine there's much fire going on.
No.
So I imagine like that it's got to be something to do with hell, torment, fire.
So what would you call it then if you wouldn't call it Crawl?
I'd call it big bitey leather handbags.
It's not so catchy, is it?
It's not so catchy, but at least you know it's like alligators. Maybe can in some
snap. Or bite, or something like that, to do with the teeth.
You would do, yeah. I like Snap. I like that. Especially because we were talking about card games before we started recording.
Yes, but I suppose that doesn't really tell you what it's about either, does it?
No, I don't think it does. Okay, so shall we stop bemoaning the name?
Yes.
And let's do... I nearly said, should we just go and watch it? But I forgot. We've got to flip a coin and we've got to pick our categories.
There's things to do first. There's admin.
There's admin. Right. I'm hoping that... The microphone hasn't been picking up the...
okay.
And I'm really worried flipping it this close to my head that I'll end up just like smacking my nose with a coin. So I'm going to move the microphone over. I'm going to flip the coin near the microphone and hope that it picks it up. No, that was a dreadful flip. All right, what do you think we've got?
Good.
It's bad.
Oh, that's good though, because we had good last time, didn't we?
We did. Good last time? Yeah, we had good. The good bits of... No, it was bad. It was the bad bits of Birdemic. Yeah, we had bad last time. So we got the bad.
Okay.
The bad of Crawl. Who knows?
It won't be any bad.
The name. The name's bad.
The name for a start.
It started bad. Right, Emma.
My turn to pick.
Your turn to pick. Okay. I don't know why I'm shuffling the cards.
We haven't seen this one, so we don't know if these are good categories or not until we watch it, do we? So.
Absolutely no idea. But the good thing is we'll have our wild cards. There you go.
The first one is supporting cast.
Oh, okay. Alligator 1, Alligator 2.
And then we've got props. That might be quite a good one.
Could be a good one.
Actor.
Oh, okay. Alligator 2.
Casting. These are all very actory, aren't they?
They are, aren't they?
What death? Special effects.
Oh, because like it's not that old a film, so there could be some really.
Hopefully there should be, because it's not really low budget by the looks of it, is it?
No.
It's
Yeah, no, it looks like a
sort
of mid-range sort of budget sort of film. I can't imagine that the budget is. I can't imagine the budget is insane though.
Budget, is it?
It has an estimated budget of $13,500,000 US.
Oh well, there you go. Budget, is it?
It's not low budget. It's not low budget. It did make money.
Oh.
So there should be a Crawl 2
Be,
as well at some point if it's made that money, but you never know. Right. So we've got actor, we've got props,
we've got
casting,
special
effects,
and supporting cast.
and supporting cast. Right. So we know what we're going to watch. We know what we're going to focus on.
Yep.
Let's go give it a watch.
Let's do it.
Welcome back, Emma.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Oh,
That's an experience.
it was, wasn't it?
It was.
I'm in two minds about the film.
Yeah, do you know what? I was thinking that I don't know whether this movie is a bit like, it's not Snakes on the Plane,
No.
but it's a bit like that in that it's a slightly bigger budget than we normally would watch.
Yes.
And I'm kind of, part of me is thinking, was this a bad movie or was it kind of a good movie in some ways?
I know what you mean.
Does it completely fit into bad movies? I don't know.
I think the premise is awful.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And I
the
think
concept is terrible.
A lot of the things that happen in it push the suspension of disbelief far too far.
Yeah. But it wasn't awful, was it?
No, I didn't hate it. And I don't know that I hate many of the films we watch. But neither did I think, oh yeah, that's a bad movie.
And there was a few bits that were quite well done as well.
Yes.
And there was a few bits that, when we watch bad movies and they try to do a jump scare, it never comes off. You're like, you see it coming a mile off.
Yeah.
It never makes you jump. There was a couple of bits in this one where it did make me jump a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I quite like that, because it was like, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
So although it was ridiculous, some of the things that made me jump, it did still make me jump a little bit. And that, we don't normally get that from the movies we watch.
And they did, I 100% agree with you, they did the jump scares well. I think the music in it was good. And, you know, I mean, I don't know if you know this, Emma, but the music was by a man called Lon Balfe, who did the music for the Wheel of Time TV show.
I do know that because you told me that.
And I told you that during
of course I wouldn't know
it.
that. You said, do I know who he was? And I said, no. And then you said, Wheel of Time. I was like, of course I don't know that.
I'm not going to lie to you. When I saw his name came up, I was like that meme of Leonardo DiCaprio in that Quentin Tarantino movie, Once Upon a Time in
Hollywood. Yeah.
Where he's clicking at the TV. I was that meme for a second. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, slight plug for the Wheel of Time TV show out of the way, because this episode will be released by the time season 2 is released.
Oh, okay.
I'm stopping talking.
Yes.
I'm going to stop talking.
I don't think many people know what that is, do they?
No, they don't, but they should. Anyway, so, Crawl.
Yes.
Shall we run through the synopsis of this film?
Yes. And
try to unpack some of the strange things that happen in this film?
Yeah, we always say this, but we always say it shouldn't take long. It is pretty much set in one location, isn't it? So
yes,
there's not. It almost feels like one long scene at one point.
Mm-hmm,
there's not really a lot of. We're not moving around much. We're going from one place to the other, and then we stay there for the rest of the movie. So it shouldn't take too long. But we always say that, and then we talk for 45 minutes.
Sometimes an hour. But yeah, so Crawl opens up with. And she's quite well known, this actress, Kaya Scodelario, I think.
I don't think I've seen her before.
She was in Maze Runner.
Okay.
And was it Skins she was in?
Oh, really? Okay.
I think it was Skins she was in. Not 100% certain.
Okay.
But she's been in movies and well-known movies. Like, I think she was in the recent Resident Evil movie as well.
Oh, okay.
So she's done a few things. So anyway, she's quite well known. And she's like a competitive swimmer.
Yes.
So, which is handy for later in the movie.
Yeah, I was.
Very handy.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking in the beginning, is this relevant? It's very relevant to the
Oh,
story.
it's 100%
They have to set that bit up,
relevant.
otherwise it wouldn't make. Not that it makes much sense later on, but it wouldn't make any sense later on if she wasn't a swimmer.
Yeah, absolutely, it would not make any sense. You're absolutely right. So it opens up with that, and we see her swimming, and she's good, right?
Yeah.
She's like, I think she wins, or she's very close to winning.
Yeah, basically they're setting it up that she's a very good, very strong swimmer, very fast.
Yeah, and she gets a phone call from her sister Beth.
Yes.
Talking about their dad and how she's not heard from him.
Yes, and she's estranged from her dad, isn't she?
Yes.
They do flashbacks to her as a child and him being quite mean to her.
Yes, because he's like the pushy swim dad. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And the reason they've not there's a worry that they've not heard from him is because I don't know if it's very recent or what, but the two daughters have moved out and the mum and dad have gotten divorced. Plus also there's like a Category 5 hurricane coming to Florida.
Yes.
So our hero, what's her name?
Oh, I don't think I wrote down her name. Oh,
No. Haley, that's it.
Sorry,
Haley.
Haley.
I just
Haley
had
and Dave. Dave was the dad.
Dave was the dad.
she
Haley
was
was the
called
daughter.
Haley.
Beth was the sister. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
And Honey was the dog.
Yes.
Yeah. Or Sugar.
Was it? Oh, I don't know.
I can't.
I'm not sure the dog's name, but she was Haley and he was Dave.
I will like to point out now, we are mentioning a dog in a bad movie. The dog remains absolutely fine throughout the whole movie.
Yes, I was worried about the dog the whole time, wasn't I? I was thinking, please don't eat the dog.
Really important to know.
Probably as well, I was a little bit sensitive because on Snakes on the Plane, they throw the chihuahua into the snake's mouth. So I was like, don't throw that dog at the gator because I won't be happy about
I mean, Emma was very much, they better not throw that dog, absolutely. And to be fair, after the horror of Snakes on a Plane, with that moment, I was very glad that nothing happened to the dog. The dog remained 100% fine all the way through. I know that's kind of spoilers maybe, but it's good to know. It's a good fact to know.
Yes.
She decides that she's going to drive down to wherever he lives, in Florida. She drives down, but she gets stopped on the way because there's police on the road saying, look, you ain't getting that way. You ain't getting there. But she knows the guy. He apparently used to date her sister. Yeah. Okay. And that is important for later.
Yes.
When he comes looking for her.
Yes.
Okay. But being quite, I wouldn't say single-minded, but she just doesn't really care for what the police have told her.
Yeah.
Stubborn. She is like, nah, she drives away and then she just decides to drive through a field to go past the police.
Yeah, she does, doesn't she? Yeah.
It's just like, And also, it's like the police let her go, because it's like, well, we're not chasing you.
Yeah, we've warned you about the weather. If you're still going to go ahead, then
quite right.
Fuck you.
Yeah. That's exactly what they said.
I did have no sympathy for the dad, I'll just say, because he was a complete arsehole to her when she was little.
Oh yeah, he was.
So I was quite surprised that she was driving to go and see if he was okay in the first place. Yeah. I guess she just did it for her sister, didn't she? But
I think it was. It wasn't so much for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true, actually. We have... Oh, she gets to the dad's condo.
Yes.
And he's not there. She's looking for him. There's no answer, nothing at all. So she calls the sister and is like, Dad's not here. Yeah. And the sister's like, oh, well, maybe he's at the house. Yeah. So they're trying to sell the family house. That's all you need to know. But the dad, she decides to go visit the family house, find the dad.
By the time she gets there, the weather is very dodgy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's taken a real turn.
There's a lot of water. It's started to flood.
Yes.
The hurricane is coming, so we'll talk about it, but the special effects are interesting. But yeah, she gets to the house and the weather's already started to get quite bad, so we're starting to get flood water and stuff. And
the streets are filling up with water.
Yeah.
The palm trees are
blowing.
They are almost, not quite vertical yet, but they get almost to a vertical stage later in the film. We have Haley searching around the family home.
Yes.
No sign of Dad at all.
No.
No sign of him. She's searching all over the place, upstairs, downstairs, and then she just happens to spot his plumbing gear.
Yes.
At the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
Possibly checking for Zachary being pulled down it by the house shark. But
Possibly.
if you don't know what that is, go and listen back to the house shark episode.
Yes.
But he's not there, but the tools are there. So she
Yeah.
decides he must be down in the crawl space where all the pipes downstairs are.
Yes.
And what then ensues is...
By the way, when we say crawl
probably-
space, it's huge, isn't it? It's not...
And it changes size as
yeah,
well.
you said
to
that
suit
though in the beginning. You said, I bet this changes size and layout depending on where they want to
on
go.
what they need to do for the
What they
film.
need to do,
Yeah. And what happens then is like a 3-minute search of the crawl space.
Yes.
Where she slowly crawls through this tiny little area, calling out for Dad.
Yeah.
And
no
it is no response at all. And like at one point, because she's a swimmer, she does the Marco Polo bit, which I found was quite funny. I know Marco Polo isn't necessarily just water, but made me think of polo in the water. Anyway, we have it's just really long and dragged out.
It's unnecessarily long, but then she does
find
her
him.
dad laying unconscious.
Yeah, I'd say he's unconscious.
With like a huge wound.
Yeah,
on
he's
one
got
side.
a massive sort of... Is it a bite? Is it a scratch? You can't really tell.
Yeah, well, I thought it kind of like a bite. So it's exposed flesh, and it's quite big on his chest.
Looks
and he's
like,
out. He's out.
I don't know
the
if
count.
it looks like bone as well, or was that supposed to be flesh?
I don't know. It looked. It was definitely flesh.
Yeah.
I don't know whether we could see bone or not, but it looked pretty severe.
Yes.
And we will talk about this, but yeah, this is a very severe injury. He's laying unconscious. What does she do next, David?
Oh, actually, I can't remember.
She gets a big piece of like tarpaulin
that's
or
right,
something.
yes. And she starts
And
throwing
she's
them all over the
throwing
place
him
onto
about
it.
to get it under him.
Yeah.
And then she drags him along, and he's like, it's like kadonk, 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 like bumpy. And I'm like, surely when you find someone unconscious, you're told not to move them, aren't you?
Yeah.
Although we did realise that the emergency services aren't coming out because there's a hurricane.
No, they're not.
So you're not going to
That's
just
true.
call 911 because that's not going to happen. So I think that was her thought process was, I can call 911, but they won't come out. It's flooding. It's like hurricane.
Yeah.
So I think she was thinking, I'm going to have to get him to a hospital myself. Mm-hmm. But then she starts pulling him all around this crawl space, trying to, get him back up. Don't know how she's going to get him up the stairs.
No idea how she's going to get him up the stairs.
Because there's stairs down to his crawl space, so she's got to get him up the stairs.
So I imagine that she's going to start dragging him up on this tarpaulin sheet.
He's going to slip
and he's
down,
just going to go like a slide down the stairs. I thought...
Bang his head on every step.
Is this what's going to happen?
Yeah.
But that's not what happens.
Before she gets that far.
She doesn't even get that far because, I was expecting it to take a little bit longer before we got our first sighting.
Yes, I was, to be fair. So it was quite quick, wasn't it, that we got...
Yeah. So, she's in there, she's dragging him, and then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, a massive alligator just, like, its head just appears.
Yeah, it just appears out of nowhere.
Yeah. And...
So she shits herself and she's like,
absolutely.
oh fuck, wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, absolutely. And she goes to drag the dad back out the way.
She moves pretty quickly. She drags him along pretty quickly.
I don't think I would have reacted that fast.
He, he's a grown man. He would have been fairly heavy.
Yeah.
And although she would be quite strong, because I guess she's a swimmer.
Yeah.
But she is very tiny, isn't she? So
yeah, she is.
It would be quite hard to drag a dead weight like that.
Yeah, 100%. The only thing that I can think of is tarpaulin on kind of wet mud.
Yeah, so I guess it slides a bit.
Maybe we can give it a little bit of, poetic license.
And adrenaline, because she's still an alligator, so she's adrenaline's going. She's got to get her dad to safety.
Honestly, if I'd had an alligator surprise me like that, I think I'd have just died.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd have been able... I think I'd have just been like, well, this is it.
Yeah.
And just accepted my fate. This is how I go. There'd be no movie if it was me.
It'd be a very short film.
Yeah, very short film. But at least it might, it might get a short movie nod at the Oscars.
It might do, yeah.
Instead of a full movie nod at the Oscars. So maybe... And sometimes the short movies aren't quite as hotly contested as the full movie. So yeah, she gets out of the way. Now, I don't know, does she get bitten at this point? Or is that later?
I can't remember if she gets bitten. No, I don't think she gets bitten straight away, does she?
I don't think it's straight
It's
away.
after. So first of all, she gets to a part in the crawl space and she realises that there's like some pipes or something going across.
Yeah, that stops the alligator getting into that bit.
If she can get across like through the pipes, so there's a bit under the pipes and there's a bit over the pipes.
Yeah.
So she gets over the pipe. She drags the dad to the, like, as close as she can to the pipes. She jumps over the pipes and then she pulls him from underneath.
That's right, yeah, so she doesn't get bitten at that point. That's a definite.
The alligator comes to the pipes and can't get through because he's too big to get under.
Yeah.
So that was quite clever.
And I think that must be where, because that's where she found her dad as well.
So,
So I think that's where she dragged him back.
Yeah.
To be like, and that must be where he kind of dragged himself after the initial attack on him, because he knows the crawl space, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh wow, we're straight into it, okay. Because, we're maybe 10, 15 minutes into the film after all the setup.
It's not long, is it? It's not long.
And you know what? I actually really appreciated that.
Yeah, because we've had a couple of movies now where it's 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Or half an hour or 45 minutes to get any action.
Yeah.
And that's too long. It's too much setup. For a movie like this where it is just action and deaths,
yes,
you don't need a big setup. You need a big setup for a really in-depth story. Mm-hmm. These aren't in-depth stories. These are just alligators are attacking people, are getting killed, they survive. It's not. We don't need a big setup for that. So that's good.
Spoilers?
Well, the time the dog survives.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, that's true. The dog survives.
I don't know how they survive because we'll talk about that later. But things they go through, they wouldn't have survived. But
no, absolutely.
So she's now hiding in safety. Well, kind of. There's still alligators roaming around. But,
alligator at the moment.
Oh, at the moment it's only one.
Alligator, yeah.
We were convinced that, so there's a shot of her just kind of looking and it's dark behind her, and we were convinced an alligator was going to pop up behind her.
Yes.
But it doesn't, does it?
And I think they do that a lot with the tension in the film. You think something's going to happen, which makes the actual jump scares work so much better because they tease you with a possible jump scare. They don't, and then they're like, bang, here's the actual one. So that I appreciated very much. So her dad wakes up.
Yeah.
And he's like, Haley, what are you doing here? There's alligators. There's an alligator.
Do you think? No shit.
I'm not going to lie, that made me chuckle.
But also, I don't know how long he's been there. I can only assume that he only just got attacked, because with that wound that he had, surely he would have bled to death. Like, that was a big wound. There
was nothing stopping that from bleeding.
No.
Yeah.
And if it's a big wound like that, you can bleed out, can't you? Like, it's.
I'm no medical expert, but it was a big old bite wound.
Yeah.
And that is not going to heal itself.
And so he's gone unconscious, but what, was that just from shock or what? Like, he's gone unconscious then just woken up when...
But it's also not his only wound, is it? Because he's also got like a broken leg.
Oh yes, of course, yeah.
Because later in the film we see him reset it by himself.
Yeah, gross.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, he has got that big wound on his leg.
That made me feel all funny inside and not in a good funny way.
That was quite well done though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's the thing. There's little bits like that in the movie that is like.
There's little nuggets, isn't there, where you're like, that was really good. Like, Dad did that really well.
Yeah, and it was the right side of like making you feel uneasy as an audience member as well. Yeah. We had so the dad wakes up and they're having a wee chat about obviously, well, what we're gonna do, and they decide on a plan that she's gonna go for it. And try and get out and get help, and she doesn't. Well, she kind of makes this plan, and I don't know if the dad's really up for it at this point.
No. So
she decides to leave, get out, and because her phone drops out of her pocket as she's dragging the dad back in, so she decides to leave and get her phone. And
she drops her phone. Yes.
Yeah. So she goes out to get her phone while the alligator is distracted elsewhere for whatever reason.
Yes.
Or is just kind of sat there not doing anything, just on the other side.
That's, I think, when she first gets her first injury, isn't it? She goes to get her phone.
Yes.
Then she comes a cropper because the alligator comes back.
And the mad thing is, though, right? This is exactly what she did. So she went and got the phone, and it was all sort of tense. Oh, is the alligator going to come along?
Doesn't she?
Yeah, she starts making a call on the phone instead of getting back to safety.
Oh yeah, because you said that, like, get back to where you were, then use the phone.
And then use the phone.
But yeah, they always do stupid things like that in horror movies, though, don't they?
Yeah,
it's like someone knocks on the door late at night and you open the door and walk out into the yard and go, hi, is anybody there? And then meanwhile someone's got into your house.
Yeah, and they've crept in.
And when you go back in, you're stuck in the house with some murderer. It's just like, Okay, that would happen.
And I was really frustrated with that, and I was like, oh.
Although, let's be fair, who is she going to call? Because if she calls 911,
Ghostbusters.
if she calls 911, what are they going to do? They can't get to her.
Yeah, exactly.
Realistically,
they're not
can
going to
they?
get there. You know, what
So
are they going to do, really?
Who, what's the
Yeah.
phone? What use is the phone anyway in that situation, really?
Yeah, fair point.
So yeah,
At least, or maybe she could just call her sister and be like, hey, this has happened. Look,
probably
we
gonna
might not
die.
make it out,
Yeah.
but, you know, we love you.
Bye.
And delete my browser history.
Yeah. And clear out my bedside cabinet.
I don't get it. Right. So obviously like she's doing that, and then the alligator comes for her.
Yes.
And she managed to get away a little bit, but
Is this when he gets her leg?
not yet.
Oh, I thought he got her
so she
leg.
gets away a little bit, but not back to safety. But she gets away from
She gets
that
away a
alligator.
little bit, and then there's a brilliant bit where the alligator comes along and it just goes crunch, and its foot just goes down on the phone, and the phone's
destroys
gone.
the phone.
Phone's done.
Yeah.
It's cracked. That was a brilliant little shot.
It
where
was
just,
good.
It just like it makes a really good sound as well. It just crunches down on it, and you just see the screen all cracked.
And you're like,
And you're
well,
like,
that's that
phone's
phone gone.
No phone.
That's it. You're
Yeah.
done. You are done. And so she's kind of at a little bit of safety, but then we find out that there's a second alligator.
Oh, okay.
Because that's when the other alligator kind of rears its ugly head, and she does this kind of look like, oh, not a second one. And that's when she does a mad dash back, but they bite her leg.
Get her leg, and then she kicks it with the other leg.
And kicks.
Which is exactly what you would do if an alligator had your leg. You'd use your other leg, wouldn't you, and try and hit it in
you
the
would.
face. So
Oh,
she
do you know
does
what we've
manage
missed
to
a
get it
bit?
off.
Well, we've missed a bit.
Oh, have we?
Yeah, because when she's doing the first search for the dad, going through the crawl space, she passes a screwdriver on the floor.
Oh yes, she does.
And there's a direct shot of just a screwdriver.
Yes, so we know clearly
Yeah.
that's going to be used later on.
And she gets away
Yeah.
from the first alligator by stabbing it with the screwdriver.
eye?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the eye. But is that when she's bitten and she's stabbing it? No.
I'm not
she gets
sure
away
how
from it,
does
she
that
stabs
later
it.
on. Is
Yeah,
that scene when she
That
stabs
is,
it?
yeah, because
Oh, okay.
really early on she uses the screwdriver.
Right, okay.
And it's like, oh, that's done and gone. But that's how she gets away from the other alligator. But then
okay.
she's accosted by the second alligator.
Yeah.
And she gets back in, but she's chewed on the legs a little bit beforehand.
So yeah, they do grab hold of her leg, and she's got quite a nasty injury.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
got quite a nasty injury, but she gets straight back up and stands on that leg,
Yeah.
which I thought was a bit unrealistic because if you've just had an alligator chomping on your leg,
Yeah.
you've probably got a broken leg at least, haven't you?
Easy.
So she literally gets straight back up and walks on that leg.
Yeah.
And later on, she's running, she's doing all
Oh,
sorts, and
she's
it's like
swimming.
that leg would not be usable.
No,
that would need
no.
some medical attention. That
Yeah,
leg.
it really does.
You'd be in agony.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, she gets straight back up.
But she's made of pretty hard stuff because she goes through a hell of a lot in this film
Yeah,
and survives a lot as well.
she really does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff that you just wouldn't survive.
It's amazing how much she survives. And I'm sure we're going to talk about
Yes,
what she
definitely.
goes through in a bit. Now, so she's back with her dad now. That's right. Yeah, she's back with her dad. The phone was a bust. That
Yep.
doesn't work out for them, and they decided another plan. The dad is going to distract the alligators by banging on pipes while she goes and
yes.
tries and signals across the street to a shop
Yes.
because they see there's movement.
Oh, she's got that little wind-up torch thing.
Yeah,
hasn't she?
got a little wind-up torch. They bang away, and she makes her way over to this other little. Well, it's like so the crawl space. This is a very American thing in houses, having the crawl space below a house, isn't
Yeah.
it? And whenever I'd seen like crawl spaces below a house, it's always like wooden latches and that sort of thing. But
Yeah.
here it's brickwork.
It's brick, but it's got like hollow bricks
Yeah,
in it.
it's
hasn't
got
it?
yeah, it's got gaps you
I
can
take
see
it for
through
things
it.
like flooding and stuff like that. Is it or?
Oh man, yeah, maybe it is actually. Yeah, maybe. So it's like they wouldn't be able to pick it away and get out. That's impossible. But we find out that wouldn't really help them very much anyway either.
No.
Because by this point, the street outside is completely flooded.
But can I just say,
yeah.
outside is completely flooded.
Yes.
Inside the crawl space, which has got these hollow bricks, so there's water is able to flow in.
Yeah.
The water level really varies throughout the movie.
It
Whether
really
it's
does.
is it on a slope? Is it on a hill? Or
See,
is it just...
That's what I was
seemed
thinking.
to be like up to their necks and then down to their ankles again. It didn't seem to be consistent, did it?
There's bits. So outside, okay, by the time that Hayley gets to this other little bit, so she can signal to this convenience store across the way, outside it's up to the waist on people.
Yeah.
But in the basement, or this crawl space below the house,
It's still sort of shin level, isn't it?
It's shin level at that point. And I was thinking, how is that happening? But later, I did see that the house is on a little bit of a rise.
It is on a bit of a slope.
It is on a little bit of a slope. So I forgive them for that.
There would be some parts that were higher than others, yeah.
However, there are still issues with the level of the water that I want to talk about later as well. So I will point that out because there are a lot of inconsistencies, as you said. Now, at this point, we're introduced to three people over at the convenience store.
Yes.
Two of them are carrying an ATM out.
So there's a woman and a man who carry an ATM machine and put it onto a boat. I don't think you'd be able to carry an ATM machine. They'd be pretty heavy, wouldn't they?
They are pretty heavy. And I think two people could carry them because it's just one of the little...
Could a little boat like that take the weight of it?
Well, that's the thing. The way they put it in as well, I'd be thinking that boat's going to capsize.
Yeah, exactly.
It is going to capsize. And also inside the store, there's another guy who seems to have Mary Poppins' handbag.
Yes, he's ransacking the store.
He's going through the store and he is just putting item after item in.
Yeah.
And I'm not going. I want to talk about him a little bit later as well, just as a really nice sort of notable mention for them. But he's in there filling that up. But one of the guy carrying the ATM out of the store sees the light flashing over by the house, and he starts to kind of wander over to I think there's some people under there.
Yeah.
And that's when I think one of the most comedic moments of the whole film happens. It's so loud outside, the wind's blowing, the rain's falling, the thunder's going, that he's standing there and looking across the street, but oblivious behind him, an alligator has just gone up and grabbed the woman that was taking the ATM out and is in the process of killing her.
Yeah.
And then he turns around slowly and is like, "Oh my God, what's going on?"
He steals a hot dog, doesn't he? And he turns around.
No, this is the other guy inside the store hasn't seen any of this yet.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
So he turns around and is like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" He goes over to the boat and then he gets taken out by an alligator.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the guy in the store's like, looks around and his pals are gone.
Yeah.
And this is another little jump scare. All of a sudden, the guy that's just been taken by the alligator is just slammed against the window. And he's like, "Oh my God," you think he's going to get to safety, but no.
Yeah.
Boom. Another alligator takes him out. Is it the same alligator? Is it a different alligator?
I'm not sure, actually. But
no idea. But we see later that, the synopsis said it was an alligator-infested town.
Yes.
And there are a lot of alligators there.
Yeah.
There's some, at one point I think I counted 6 alligators.
Oh, okay.
When the police were being attacked later on the outside. I think I counted about 6. But there was definitely like a maelstrom of alligators.
Yeah. And
then we come back to Hayley, who's just watched all this happen.
Yes.
and she's like...
Trauma.
Yeah, she's seriously like in shock. She's like, I mean, I said to you, why is she barking? Because she was going...
Oh, because she made some really weird noises, didn't she?
What was going on with that?
Yeah, she did make some bizarre noises at that point. I was like... Are you all right?
But again, I don't know. Are you all right?
All right?
I don't know. I don't know what noises I would make when I just saw like my one almost lifeline be ripped to shreds like that in front of you. Yeah. So that was slightly distressing for Hayley at this point.
Yes, I imagine so.
And that's when she tells her dad, "No, that was kind of a bust."
Yeah.
That was kind of a bust. Now she makes her way back to them, doesn't she?
Yes.
And
I can't remember the exact order of this now, but I know at one point there are 2 police officers on a boat.
Oh yeah, because they're next. Yeah, the police are next.
So the police officers turn up on a boat, and I guess they're just looking around houses to see if there's anyone trapped in houses they can rescue.
But it's the police officer she knows.
Yes, the one she knows.
So I think he's actually very specifically.
Yeah, because he saw her go through the field and knows that where she was going. So they sort of pull up to the house, and the one that she knows gets out and goes into the house to look for her.
Yes.
Finds the dog, who the dog is still up in the house, isn't he? The dog didn't go down into the crawl space. So the dog's sort of up in by the sort of trapdoor barking.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of like a trapdoor, and then there's a staircase. So he's kind of at the top and he's looking down this staircase and he's calling her name. And then she calls back to him and they kind of had a conversation.
Yeah, she's like, don't come down here, there's alligators.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they have a bit of a conversation, and then does it all happen? Yeah, stuff happens outside first, doesn't it? So the guy that's outside, his propeller's got caught in some plants.
The classic propeller getting caught in some plants.
So you see the propeller all wrapped up with whatever it's wrapped up in. I'm not quite sure what it's wrapped up in, because it's not a lake. It's a street. So
it's a street. So it's the world's strongest garden plant.
Yeah.
Whatever
so
it is.
some sort of plants got wrapped around the propeller. And we're just sitting there going, don't get out of the boat. If you do nothing else, don't get out of the boat.
But we know there are alligators.
Yeah.
But the thing is as well, right, if you're in Florida, I mean, any body of water in Florida, I'd be thinking, there's an alligator in there. I'm not going anywhere near it.
Yeah.
Even if, right, it was my bath. I'd be the kind of thinking, I don't think there's an alligator in there.
Yeah.
I'm in Florida. There's a body of water. There's an alligator.
So you're taking showers in Florida?
Or what if alligators come out of the shower head?
Well, how shock. He could squeeze through the toilet. So.
He could.
So you can't go to the toilet, you can't wash.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be a very short visit to Florida.
Yeah. I think maybe just don't go.
I think I won't. Sorry, any Floridians out there.
So, yeah, so the guy, it's the police officer outside, gets out of the boat, turns the engine off, obviously, and gets out of the boat and tries to free the propeller from the...
Yes, it's very important he turns the engine off, because we were both like...
At one point I was like...
I hope he's turned the engine off.
Yeah, because if not, if he gets that plant loose, that's just taking his hand off.
Yeah, his hand would have been one of the piranhas.
Yes, it would have been the piranha smoothie. So he does that, and then I think the action happens outside before the action happens inside, doesn't it? So he gets ripped apart. There's several alligators, isn't there? In the water.
Yes, there are several alligators.
At one point, we just kind of see his body ripped apart.
Yes. Yeah, because his arms go, his legs go. Yeah. It
was quite good, actually. And then the guy inside, we're sitting there, we were waiting for this. So this one wasn't a shock. We were waiting for an alligator just to jump up.
Yeah, but it doesn't, again, they tease you with it. It doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen straight away.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, bang, the alligator does get him. And it's like, oh, and it drags him down into the crawl space.
Yeah.
And, she tries, the mad thing is, Hayley goes over and tries to help him.
Oh, yeah.
And, there's no hope for him. He is being, the water is churning red. He's gone. But fair play to Hayley. She tries to help, even though there's a great big alligator and then a second alligator as well.
Yeah.
And
I don't know what she thinks she's going to achieve, but yeah.
Absolutely no idea. But he dies, of course. Both the police are dead.
Yep, so you're not getting out on their boat. So you've got no phone, no police.
No police.
It's not looking good, is it?
No, it's not looking good. It's really not looking good. Now, I know she makes a run for it through the pipes, but I can't remember exactly how it happens, because I know that there's a whole sort of process of her getting a gun off the policeman's body.
Oh, yes, there is, yeah.
And I think, so I know after the policeman dies, she ends up back with her dad.
Yes.
Because he's been measuring the water rising as well.
Oh, he's got tape measure, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's also got a whole tool belt, hasn't he, on?
Yeah, he's got a whole tool belt. And you think that's going to come handy at some point.
They don't use it at all.
It doesn't. And I thought, oh, what
a waste.
What a waste. If, there should have been an alligator die by, multiple stab wounds.
We could have had so many different killings and
absolutely.
It just didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen. The plan is that there's all this sort of thing happen. They have a real, this is what goes on at this moment. They have a real heart-to-heart moment. And we were like, yeah, can we just get on the alligator bit, please?
So by this point, has she had a bite to her?
No, not yet. Oh. No.
Is this the point where
he's saying... They're still in the basement.
Go for it, you can do it kind of thing?
Yes.
Yeah, so he's been, a massive prick to her all her life.
Yeah.
She's not good enough and, telling her that she's useless. And then when he needs her to save his life, he's like, "You can do it. I believe in you."
Yeah.
It's like, come on, you've been an absolute prick to her whole life.
I know.
Like, I just was at one point. I was like, "Yeah, just leave him to die."
Leave him,
because he's just like, he doesn't give a shit about you. He cares about himself and getting rescued himself.
And it's very true. But because they have this whole heart-to-heart talk where he's like, you watch this kid hold their breath from one end of the pool to the other, and I don't know how much that would actually help a swimmer holding their breath from one end of the pool to the other.
I don't know.
He said you watched him hold his breath from one end to the other. You couldn't do it, but that was you. That night, I came downstairs. You were in the pool at 2 a.m. and you were holding your breath and trying to get to the other side of the way, and you eventually did it, and because ultimately this is leading up to the fact that she's going to have to hold her breath to swim through the crawl space, because they figured out how the alligators have gotten into the house. For some reason, there's a storm drain. Yeah. Okay. That leads into their crawl space.
How big is the storm drain though? Because they're massive, these alligators.
Well, that's the thing, right? These alligators are massive.
House shark all over again,
and she barely fits through this.
Yeah. Because we had that because we were both saying, no way would we do that.
I wouldn't get it.
I would accept my fate and die rather than crawl through a tunnel.
Yep.
I don't think I've got a really severe case of claustrophobia, but I can't do... I can go in a lift. I don't like going in lifts, but I will go in lifts. Yeah. But I could not crawl through a tunnel.
No.
I couldn't go caving. When I watch videos of people caving online, I'm like, why? Why would you do this to yourself?
No.
So, I couldn't crawl through a tunnel like that.
I've been in a tunnel, and that's what really set me off.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I had to crawl backwards out and just leave all the other scouts to their spelunking. Yeah. And I just sat there for an hour like, I am never going in a hole again. Ever. I'm not even I'm never going to be buried, even dead. I'm not going in a casket. Just put me in a bag and put a little like Stanley knife in there so I can even imagine being able to get myself out of that bag.
Yeah.
Or even if you do put me in a coffin, it's got to have a latch.
Well, surely cremation is the way to go then.
100%.
You know that you're not getting buried alive then.
Never, you're not burying me, just in case.
Yeah.
And if I do ever get buried for whatever reason, I want a 24/7 camera on my face, just in case I go, oh my God, whoa, that was a terrible dream.
Where am I?
This is me in a nutshell.
How did I get in this nutshell?
How did I get into this nutshell? What sort of nut has a shell so big?
That's a blast from the past.
Oh dear. So anyway, crawl. You'd have to crawl in a nutshell, wouldn't you? Anyway.
So she crawls through this tunnel that
crawls through this tunnel.
No way, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Die by alligator bite.
Which through this tunnel as well clearly takes her into the lair of the alligators.
Is this the bit where we get the alligator vision?
Yes.
And so there's a really good bit where she's swimming away from the alligator and we get a bit of alligator. We've had alligator vision a couple of times.
Yeah, a couple of times as it kind of goes through the water in the crawl space.
Yeah.
It is definitely alligator vision, but it's not like Snakes on a Plane where it was kind of bluish. Or
Snakes on a Plane was like green and then House Shark was blue.
House Shark was blue, yes. I can't believe I got
and
my
then what,
animal vision mixed up.
Animal vision on Piranha Vision we had as well.
Piranha Vision we had that.
So we've had animal vision on every movie apart from Birdemic.
Yes.
So far. So
because they couldn't afford it.
We were hoping for some animal vision and we definitely got that about 2 or 3 times, which was great. And there was one of the times was really good because she was swimming away from the alligator. And you just kind of saw her feet go and she just about got away from it. So it was quite well done.
Again, another tense moment. It's like, I just got away. Yeah, absolutely. And so she ends up going through this tunnel and she ends up in the alligator lair. There are loads of eggs there as well.
There's loads of alligator eggs and baby alligators. Yeah, quite a few. And this alligator comes in. Yes.
And goes in the water. And she's really still and it kind of misses her, even though she's obviously there.
Yeah.
I don't know how. They're not like Tyrannosaurus Rex in Jurassic Park. They don't really hunt by vision, I'm sure. But she stays really still. The alligator goes into the water around this sort of storm drain area and then she spies the police officer. They must have dragged like dragged the police officer's body back to that area.
Yeah.
And he's got his gun on him. So
Yes.
she leans over really gingerly. And I said to you at the time, why do people do this?
She leans over really far as well. Like she'd topple over
So
probably if
slow.
she did that in real life. Like,
Why not just like really quickly lean over, grab the gun and come back? She takes forever doing
well, I
it.
think she's trying to keep her balance because she's got to stretch quite far. It's a bit like on Piranha where they go searching for the body at night.
Yeah,
stupidly.
yeah. Okay, fair.
And they overstretch themselves and fall in the water.
Got you. I was just
think she
looking
was
at
trying
it
to
as
keep her
why is she
balance,
doing it so
because
slow? But
it was quite a reach, wasn't it, to get to him?
yeah, fair point.
And I think she was trying to avoid getting in the water. Mm-hmm. So she reaches and gets his gun.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair point.
Which
Fair point.
I'm not sure on this because I don't know. Guns aren't readily available over here. We don't in the UK. We don't. Every household doesn't have a gun.
Yeah, that's right.
So I've shot a shotgun when I did clay pigeon shooting.
Yeah, same.
But I've never shot a handgun. So if I all of a sudden found myself in a situation where I needed to shoot a gun, I wouldn't know how to take the safety off, for example, or actually shoot the gun.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it?
So I always wonder in these movies, like, have you shot a gun before? Would you know how to shoot a gun if you've never handled a gun before? I don't know.
I mean, that's the thing, right? I would automatically think, right, there must be some sort of safety.
Yeah.
And it's probably something holding the barrel from the chamber from going back and forth or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? But not every gun is the same.
Exactly, they're all different. So
They're all different.
I wouldn't have a clue.
So the first place I'd look might be completely wrong. But in that instant, too late, you've been eaten by an alligator.
Yeah.
And also, is it even loaded? You know?
Exactly, yeah.
How many bullets are in it? I imagine if it's a police officer, it's
It's
more
loaded
than
and-
likely
yeah.
fully loaded, and it's it's in their holster, etc. But you don't know.
Yeah.
And the man and I don't quite know what happens, but she gets the gun, and it's in her hand, but then I don't know if it's like straight away, but the alligator comes along and bites her
chomps her
hand
arm.
with the gun in it.
And that was a little jump for me because you didn't see that coming. She was reaching for the gun, she got the gun, and then this alligator's just on her arm, quite far up her arm.
Yeah. I mean, it's
So-
elbow length.
Again, she's a very slim woman,
Yeah.
and I imagine that an alligator chomping down on your arm would probably rip it off.
Yeah.
And so she's got her arm in its mouth, and she's shooting the gun.
Which I thought was
10,000 times.
brilliant. I thought that was
But
brilliant.
that would kill it first or second time, surely. You're inside its mouth.
And that's the thing,
You've
right?
got direct access to all of its
Surely
organs.
it's gonna
Surely
cause-
it's going to die.
A lot of damage really quickly,
Yeah,
really
you
easily.
think if you had your arm down someone's throat and you
Yep.
shoot a gun, you're going to kill it like pretty instantly. But
Yeah.
she shoots this gun so many times.
Oh,
And
she
also,
empties the gun.
Yeah, she empties the gun. It eventually dies.
Yeah.
And then she just pulls her arm out and it's a cut. She's got a wound, much like her leg.
Yep.
By the way, the leg wound that we said about earlier was pretty severe, and she's managed to swim
Oh,
and do all this
yeah.
stuff. So now she's also got a massive wound on her arm.
Mm-hmm.
And again, and also
She's not using them
they're
again.
in like dirty water.
Yeah.
So there's going to be infected. They're going to get
Oh,
sepsis.
yes.
There's all sorts of stuff going to be going on. So
It's almost like just let the alligators get you.
yeah.
It'd probably
You're
be
probably going to
easier.
die anyway, aren't you? After
Yeah.
all these injuries and stuff. So yeah, so this
Her
alligator
swimming
was-
career's gone.
Yeah, well,
Clearly not.
because she outswims an alligator later on. So what's the bit?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
she does.
what's the bit where she? Is it before that when she gets the gun, where she swims faster than the alligators and we just mentioned it, when she just gets away?
No, that is later.
Oh, that is
She
later
does
on.
swim faster than an alligator later when they get out of the crawl space.
Oh
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
I know. Oh yes. Yeah, we'll come to that.
I can't quite remember how they get out of the crawl space though. I must have
can't.
missed that when I was
Oh,
watching it.
They get into the house at some point, but I can't remember how.
Yeah.
They get up into the actual main house.
Yeah.
The dog's still there. And then they end up upstairs in the bedrooms because she's upstairs and they find a load of flares.
Oh, this is, but yeah. Also, we have missed a bit. Yeah,
Oh, have
yeah.
we?
So again, how they get out of the crawl space, I think they literally the alligators are distracted by something, and
They get distracted quite a lot,
They
don't
just
they?
just get out through the stairs.
Yeah.
Oh no! So that's right. So she goes through the storm drain. She gets outside and she comes back in the house.
Yes, she does. Yeah.
But by this point, the water level's getting so high, and the dad's nearly drowning.
And the dad's got his face sort of in a little air pocket, but there's not.
Yeah.
It's gonna go soon. And at that point, I was like, just let him drown.
Yeah, just let him go.
Like, you know, he's not been a good dad to you. Just let him go.
Haley gets like a crowbar and starts smashing up the floorboards.
Yes.
And you're like, you're going to hit him in the face.
Yes, because his head is like close to... I mean, I don't know where he was in relation to where she was hitting, but his face is right up against the floorboards at this point because the water level's rising so high. Mm-hmm. And she's just hacking at the floorboards with a crowbar. I'm like, you're going to just gouge his eye out in a minute. So...
And I was thinking to myself, right, would I take a crowbar to the face so I didn't drown? Probably. Would I be happy about it? Probably not.
And that could do some serious damage to your face.
Yeah. I mean, he's already got a gammy bite. He's got a gammy leg.
Which is now all infected with dirty water.
Now he's lost his teeth.
And an eyeball.
And possibly an eyeball.
Yeah, that's how she... But then, does he manage to crawl out himself?
Well,
sort of drag him
we
out?
see him sink down really low, but when she gets a gap big enough to pull him out, he's right near the top to get him.
Yeah.
She gives him CPR, and he coughs it up and he's better.
Yeah.
Of course, because, CPR
And
always works in the movies.
Yes, and then they go upstairs.
Yeah.
Because she's in the bedroom when they find some flares by the stairs.
Yeah.
And then they end up upstairs.
No, they go outside.
Oh, do
Because
they?
they end up upstairs in a completely different house.
Oh,
So they get outside and they start walking across and they're like, the alligators only come along when they're splashing. Right? So don't splash. So they walk really gingerly, carefully through the, at this point, almost chest-high water. And they go to the boat that had the ATM in it. That's where they want to get to. That's when a great big alligator swims in between them.
Oh,
and
yes, they stay still and it just misses them.
Yeah, and they're like, we're not going to make it. So that's when she has to swim. And that's when he says to her, you're faster than these alligators.
Yeah, he says to her, you can outswim them. We actually checked this because we were like, how fast does an alligator swim? And we've looked on Google and it said about 20 miles an hour.
About 20 miles per hour for Google. Yeah.
Then I said, how fast can the fastest swimmer swim? And we looked that up as well, and it was...
Well, I had varying reports.
Oh, okay.
Michael Phelps, it said 8.8 miles on one website, but another website said that Michael Phelps... per hour. On one website, it said Michael Phelps' record was 4.7 miles per hour.
And what was the female?
Katie Ledecky was 3.8 miles per hour.
Right, so say 3.8... Oh, sorry, say... What was the highest one?
8.8 miles per hour.
So say it was 8.8 miles per hour was the fastest a human could swim.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking Olympic level swimming here, aren't we?
And I mean, she is a competitive swimmer.
She's competitive, but we don't know if she's that highly competitive.
Yeah, we've not seen that she's an Olympic swimmer.
So best case scenario, you're half the speed of a... less than half the speed of an alligator.
Yeah.
But she outswims.
Yeah, she outswims an alligator.
Not only is she human... which says she couldn't swim that fast, but she's also got a gammy arm and a gammy leg.
Yeah.
And she still manages to put in an award-winning swim.
Honestly, American swim team, Olympic swim team, get this woman on your team. She will smash every record.
Yeah.
Every record.
And again, the dad is only supportive when she's got to save his life.
Yeah. You
All
could
of her life,
you can do it.
Just
You're
been
faster.
Like, you're shit, and then I need you to save me. Oh yeah, you can do it. You can outswim the alligators.
She gets to the boat.
Right. Oh, this is where we get the nice shot. So we get gator vision.
Yes.
And so we get them going through the water, and then you just get a shot of her legs just going into the boat.
Yeah, that's right.
As from the gator's eye view, and that's a really nice little shot. That is.
It was indeed. She gets the boat over to the dad, who was kind of standing still all this time. He gets in the boat, but then, you get, a siren warning, and that's where, the flood protection has burst.
Yeah.
And now the flood waters are really coming in. And they can't get away. So they've literally just got on this boat, and then the flood waters come, and it washes the boat full force into the window of a house.
Yeah.
And they end up in this house. They get upstairs. They find these flares.
Yep.
They go up through into the loft. And
yes, so she goes up to the highest point of the house because obviously it's all flooding.
But before they do, they're about to go up into the loft. For some reason, she goes in to check another room.
She goes into the bedroom.
And
goes up to
you
the
can
window
see
to let
the water level of the window is right up past the window on the second floor.
Yes.
And then you just see a shark.
No, she wants to go to throw the flare out the window. So she goes up close to the window.
Because they see a helicopter in the distance.
Oh, yes.
And she sets a flare off in the bedroom.
And then this alligator just jumps through the window. And again, wasn't expecting it at all. So it just comes into shot and jumps through the window. Yep. Smashes through the window.
It knocks a wardrobe to go over the door.
Yeah.
It's the water obviously rushes in. So she's trapped in this room with an alligator.
Yeah.
Right? Trapped with an alligator. There's absolutely no way to get out of this room without this alligator getting you.
Yeah.
Absolutely no way. And the alligator does get her. The alligator in the room. So she gets bitten kind of over the shoulder. So the alligator kind of grabs her over the shoulder. So if you imagine it's like almost like biting over her head, it gets her shoulder instead.
Oh, I thought we had her by the head. Have her by the shoulder?
By the shoulder,
Okay.
The head's to the side. She's got it by the shoulder. But the alligator starts rolling her around.
Death roll, yeah.
Death roll, right?
You're not going to get out of that, are you?
No, you aren't.
An alligator.
And like, I'm sorry, but this is where the movie really stretches like belief far too far. The flare that she was using to try and summon the helicopter is still on the floor in the water burning because flares burn underwater. They've got their own fuel source, etc. So that's that's not an issue, but it's just out of our reach. And as the alligator's spinning around, she's slowly getting closer to grabbing this, and then the next spin she's a bit closer. The next spin she's closer. She eventually grabs the flare. Bearing in mind she's being whipped around by this alligator.
Pretty quickly, yeah.
And jams the flare into the alligator to, cause pain, and the alligator lets go of her.
I mean, if nothing else, you would be completely disorientated.
100%.
Your brain is being shaken around your skull.
Yep.
Like, you're not going to be able to actually think about your next move.
But do you know what happens though while she's being spun around?
Yeah.
The movie flashes back to her swimming career and all the times that she's, been swimming towards the wall, does that spin thing and then kicks away. Now I don't know if you've ever tried that.
No.
It is really disorientating.
Oh, okay.
I've tried it in swimming lessons before. It does throw you, and you need to be really kind of aware of where your body is, and so on. But in no way is it similar. I imagine to being death rolled by an alligator.
No.
Yeah, no way. But she gets away. She gets out the house. There's a little bit more sort of to and fro.
They climb onto the roof, don't they?
And they climb onto the roof
because that's the only way they can go, really, because the house is flooded.
Yeah, and the flood waters are right up to the roof.
Yeah.
Right up to the roof.
So. Also, we sort of hit on there's a helicopter.
Yeah.
There's a hurricane, quite a severe hurricane.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure you're sending out helicopters in a hurricane because surely the safety of those men in the helicopter is not worth them risking their lives. Surely they just don't send helicopters out in hurricanes. They'll just be dead.
I can't imagine they do. I mean, how out of the likelihood of it, how unlikely is it that a helicopter goes out in that time? I'd say it's very unlikely.
Very unlikely. It's a hurricane.
When you see footage of people sitting on top of their houses in floods, usually it's after the storm has ended.
Yeah.
And it's people going to help people on the roofs after the fact. It's not during.
No.
Maybe, correct us if we're wrong. If you are an emergency helicopter pilot.
Yeah, I know nothing about this subject. Just common sense would say there's quite a bad hurricane going on. You don't send any air traffic out.
You are they shut down airports.
Yeah, you wouldn't fly a plane or a helicopter or anything if there's a hurricane, surely.
You wouldn't kill a policeman. You wouldn't fly a plane. No, I know. You just wouldn't.
You just wouldn't.
You just wouldn't.
And especially a helicopter, that's quite a small vehicle really in comparison to like a plane or something.
And really susceptible to wind.
Yeah.
Really.
Literally they'd lose control of it straight away, surely. So that was a bit ridiculous.
And that was the end of the film. They're on the roof.
Yes.
And you just see the basket being lowered, and again in heavy winds on a rope, that basket is going to be flying around.
It wasn't. It was quite calmly coming down.
It was really calmly, just like, oh yeah, here you go, like manna from heaven. There you go. Just going to pick you up and fly you off now. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to get on that helicopter. I'd be like, you're just putting me. It's like you're just putting me in a basket and going to drop me in the deep fryer with the alligators.
Put the dog on first. See. No, by the way, the dog is up on the roof with them.
The dog's up on the roof
there?
Because the dad carries it up.
Oh, okay.
From
easy to do.
from leaving their house, the dad is carrying the dog to make sure it's okay.
One climbs onto the roof while carrying a dog. That's
he doesn't. The thing is, he doesn't climb onto the roof. He rips a hole apart in the attic to get onto the roof.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know about you, but I know the roof on my house slopes, and if I go up into the attic and ripped a hole through, I could easily step out.
Yeah.
It's quite easy, but I'd have to rip a hole through the roof first, but
that wouldn't be that easy.
I technically could do that.
Okay.
And the movie ends. And how does the movie end, Emma?
The movie ends, and then we get, see you later, alligator.
Yep. Bill Haley in the comments just literally kick in with that song.
Which is brilliant. It couldn't have been any other song, could it?
It couldn't have been. And it worked really well.
Yeah, we liked that little touch.
Yeah, it really did. After the end of the movie.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed this film.
See, this is what I was thinking about. I was thinking, is this a bad movie or is it a good movie?
Yes. It's a bad movie, but I enjoyed it because the premise is stupid.
The premise is completely stupid, but there's some nice little touches all the way through.
Yeah.
And there were some things that they did really well. So, although there were some bad bits as well, I have more notes on good bits than I have on bad bits, actually.
Yeah, okay.
And out of the ones we've watched this series, we've had a couple that I've struggled to watch. This was one of the ones that wasn't a struggle to watch. It's no Snakes on a Plane. Nothing's going to come close to that, I don't think, this season.
No, I don't think anything will.
But it wasn't difficult to watch. There was enjoyable moments in it, and there was some good deaths and stuff like that. Like there was some good little jump scares. I definitely say it's worth a watch, and it's quite a recent movie, isn't it? So some of it's not like some of the movies we've watched have been quite old. So actually, the special effects, you've got to give them credit where it's due. It was 20 years ago or something.
Yeah.
They're not going to have the special effects that we've got now, and they're on a budget.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get anything spectacular. But this was 2019, was it?
2019, yeah. 13.5 million budget.
Yeah, so we had some decent stuff in there. It wasn't a super low budget.
Absolutely.
And the acting wasn't awful. I mean, compared to what we've seen? I mean,
compared to some of the things we've seen. Yeah, Birdemic definitely is not just most recent in mine, but I don't think will ever leave my mind for the acting.
Yeah, I didn't struggle to watch this one, so I do think.
Yeah, I didn't struggle to watch it, but I think for everything that was in it, it's a bad movie done well.
Yeah.
And that's what I love in a bad movie.
Yeah.
You know. It's like it doesn't take itself too seriously. It knows it's alligators in a crawl space. I would say it took itself a bit more seriously than something like Snakes on a Plane. Yeah, it's not tongue in cheek.
Is very tongue in cheek. Yeah. Like we know this is. I don't know. We know this is comedy. We know this is a bit of fun.
Yeah. But
so let's get ridiculous.
This one I think leans into the premise of look. We know it's a terrible kind of scenario.
Accepting of.
Yeah.
I feel there's an element of it being a serious movie.
Yes.
Like we want it to be scary. We want it to be tense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They didn't do it. It wasn't like you say tongue in cheek. It wasn't comedy.
Yeah.
They did some actually quite good jump scares and things like that, and kept it tense at times. And and like you said earlier, they threw in some little bits where the thing that you was expecting to happen didn't happen straight away. So then when it did happen, you wasn't expecting it as much.
Yes.
So it did take itself seriously in that they wanted to keep it tense and they wanted to keep you guessing and keep you on your toes. Whereas Snakes on a Plane, it was just go all out, just straight in for just stupid,
go in
ridiculous
for absolute
deaths
stupidity.
And
I think you can have really good moments like that in bad films.
Yeah.
Of course you can. I mean, one of my favourite deaths ever is in a terrible movie called, I think, Leprechaun Origins.
Okay.
And it's terrible, but it's like there's a death that happens in it that is just superb.
Yeah.
It is such a good like build up to it. it's not what you're expecting, but when it happens, it's done amazingly well. Anyway, so there can be like, I think that's a terrible movie, but this is a good bad movie,
Yeah.
and borders on like B movie schlocky, but with a modern kind of movie making mentality.
Yeah.
You could see this movie being made in the 80s.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like a killer animal movie from the 80s, but done in a really schlocky way. But they've kind of updated. It's like just a nicely updated movie for 2019, and I liked it for it. Yeah, I feel like we're being serious movie critics here.
Yeah, I feel like this series we've done a couple of bigger budget movies, and actually it's given us just something a bit different.
Yeah,
but I think a lot of the movies we've watched up to date have had a lot of similar qualities because they are very low budget.
Yeah,
the acting is poor. Like it's low budget
because you get who you can get. It's usually sometimes it seems like it's people's friends in the movie. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one was definitely. Yeah, I think when they've got a bit more of a budget and it's a bit more recent, you are going to get, you know, special effects are going to be a little bit better, actors are going to be a bit better. So it can be more enjoyable to watch. So that's why I'm always torn. Like, is this a good movie or is this?
Yeah, and
that's
bad? The thing. They do it all right, but then you could. I mean, on the
flip side
of that, you know, you can end up with movies like with an absolutely massive budget. Like, I don't know if you've seen Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Yeah.
Right.
Brody and I loved that because it just made us laugh all the way through.
Yeah, but the thing is, though,
it's so silly.
It's really silly, but when you actually look at it, it's a really crap movie.
But it's not because they make it comical.
But that's the thing. I agree with you.
Had they not had the humour with it, crap movie. But we laughed all the way through it.
But I think when I compare that to the first Ant-Man movie, I'm like, it's just not on the same level.
Oh, sorry, you're talking about. Yeah, I'm talking
I'm talking about the sequel, the third movie.
Yeah, the first Ant-Man.
Yeah, the first Ant-Man, fantastic.
Laughed all the way through it.
Absolutely brilliant. The third one. I
haven't seen the third one.
The third one, they have laughs in it,
but it's not the same.
It's just a very forgettable, boring movie with the occasional laugh. Yeah. And I hate to think how much money was spent on it.
Yeah.
Whereas then you end up with like 13.5 million making Crawl, and it's a really, really interesting movie that just leans into being a daft premise, but does a good thing with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, very much enjoyed it. Now, it sounds like we're going to start scoring it here, but we're not, because we need to talk about our categories. So we need to talk about the bad things.
So, the categories we picked this time
didn't lend well to this film
because we picked a lot. So we picked casting, actor, and supporting cast. Yeah. But actually, you had your two main characters. There was a couple of supporting cast that weren't in it for long. Yeah,
they were fodder for the alligators.
So you're mainly talking about your two main characters here. So I don't think we're going to be able to talk about things like casting.
Yeah,
I
agree.
I've got a couple of things, but not. I don't think we've got enough to talk about.
True.
So casting an actor. I mean, you had the dad. You had Dave, the dad. Yeah. As the main actor. Who didn't really have any other actors that were in it long enough for you to go. They made a difference to the movie, or they did a good performance because they weren't in it long. It was literally a few minutes for other people.
It was just a bad movie to get those categories. It did not suit the actor categories
whereas actually I think
it was ultimately just a two-piece.
Yeah, so I think we could, but I think there's other things we could talk about. I mean, I've got some notes down for scene.
Yeah,
I think we could talk about scenes, and I think we could probably talk about deaths.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we can.
Although I haven't got a bad death.
Well, I mean, I think that's the trouble. There isn't really a bad death. There's just deaths that happen, and I mean, some of them are really quick. So, I mean, talking about deaths, I think we have the same age-old argument of consistency. Like, some people are attacked by an alligator and they're instantly dead.
Oh, we completely forgot to say the dad does have his arm ripped off at one point.
Oh, yeah, he does. So he does, yeah. He has his arm ripped off in the house.
An alligator gets hold of Dave's arm
Aye.
and rips it off. Yet when Hayley has her arm fully in the alligator's mouth, she pulls it away with just a cut.
Yeah.
And that was completely inconsistent because her arm was much smaller than her dad's.
Yeah.
If an alligator's pulling the dad's arm off, it's going to pull her arm off easy.
Yeah, 100%.
That was completely inconsistent, yeah.
And that's the thing. These inconsistencies, I think, are the issue with the bad deaths, because it's like, when the police officer gets dragged down into the crawl space, I mean, he has an alligator literally come up and not bite him in half, but bites him right across the midriff, drags him down into the water, and is throwing him about the place. And his death takes like a good minute to happen. But then I mean, I know there were more alligators. His partner is ripped apart in seconds. But
the two main characters can get
death rolled and they're absolutely fine. Yeah. So I think that's my issue with the deaths.
Yeah.
Of course, they have to make it like that for the main characters.
Well, yeah, obviously, but...
And we didn't get my prediction.
No.
The dad did not sacrifice himself heroically for the daughter. He didn't need to, but...
No, because he was too selfish, wasn't he?
Far too selfish to do it, yeah.
Bit of a dickhead.
So, I mean, definitely, like... I know I don't have a bad death, but the treatment of the deaths, I think... I mean, I know that's not one of our categories anyway,
I guess the treatment of the deaths was, like you say, inconsistent, like it always is in these movies.
Yeah.
Like we said with Piranha, 1 minute there's 20 fish milling about and they're not touching anyone. The next minute there's 10,000 fish and they're all going for people like mad. There's no... It's got to be one or the other. Like either an alligator grabs hold of you and kills you pretty quickly, or you can get bitten on the arm and then just pull your arm out and be fine. Like it's one or the other, it's not both.
No, absolutely.
So, yeah, completely inconsistent. I totally agree.
And one thing I would say for the actor, right?
Yeah.
I hate what they do with the alligators, right? The idea that the alligators have a conscience and are like, you stab me in the eye, I'm now going to stalk you to teach you a lesson. I don't really know that animals behave or think like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We did have this conversation, didn't we, while we were watching it? Like,
there's one moment where she's just stabbed the alligator and she's hiding away from it, and she thinks, and she's looking out. It's like, where's this alligator? And she moves herself towards a little bit of like the danger area, and then the alligator just pops its head up as if to say, "I'm still here."
Yeah.
I was like, I'm pretty sure animals don't do that, And I'd understand if like it was like house shark and it was a super smart animal. It's some sort of experiment to make it smart, but no, it's just it's a wild animal. I mean, yes, it can sense prey, and I suppose the only reason it's really there still,
it's not got an agenda or like you say, it's not got in its head revenge or it's literally I'm killing to eat or I'm killing to defend myself.
And it's not like it's trapped in there, because we can see that it can get out through the storm drain. Yeah, it took the police officer out there, so. Yeah. Why don't they leave? Yeah. Are they like, no, we really want to eat you two now?
Yeah, I don't know.
And like after they do eat someone, how hungry is an alligator?
That's what I was just about to come on to. Is I think, and again, I'm not an expert in any kind of animal. I'm not an expert, but
alligator husbandry.
I think that animals. Normally, from what I've heard and from what my son tells me, because my son is very clued up on, he loves animals and he's clued up on all the facts. Animals don't tend to get vicious unless A, they feel threatened, like you're going to attack them, or they're hungry and they see you as prey. Yeah. So even with things like sharks and stuff, they don't tend to just attack for no reason. Yeah, that's right. If they feel like you're invading their space and they're threatened, yes, they will attack. If they are hungry and they want to eat you, they'll attack.
They think you're a little seal floating on the top of the water.
Yeah, then they might attack. But
or if you're on the USS Indianapolis and you're in the water and you're one of the 1,100 men that went in the water. Yeah. Yeah, those sharks are gonna. Sorry, I'm going back to Jaws.
But so this is the thing. So if these alligators have already had a couple of people to eat, animals don't just eat and eat and eat. They eat until they're full and then they wait and eat again. I mean, I'm comparing a dog to an alligator here, but I've got a dog. I can leave food out all day. He won't constantly eat all day.
Yeah.
He eats when he's hungry, and if he's not hungry, he doesn't eat.
Yeah.
That's it, done. There's no, animals have that sense of being, it's not like humans, we like the taste of stuff, so we carry on eating. We're like, oh, I like the taste of that though, so I'm not hungry, but I'll eat it, because, and that's our downfall, isn't it? We're like, I'm not actually hungry, but I'll eat that because I know it tastes nice, or I'll drink that because it tastes nice. Animals don't tend to do that. Animals eat for fuel. They eat when they're hungry. So if these alligators have already had 2 or 3 people, they're not going to just keep going, are they?
I mean, are they like, oh, I fancy a little bit of the cheese tray, you know? Yeah, I know. That
I imagine one human tastes very much
me.
like another human. That's the thing. Like, it's not like they're trying different flavours. Like, if it was us, we'd be like, we've actually made ourselves quite ill before eating a whole camembert each with some bread.
I remember recording that episode after eating all that cheese, and we were like, oh, we're never eating this much cheese again.
We will. We definitely will.
We definitely will, yeah. And in fact, I think we should plan it for some time soon.
But that's what I mean. Like, we'll be greedy because we'll think that tastes nice, and we like the taste of different things. If animals are just eating other animals and it's meat, it's not going to taste that different.
No,
they're going to eat into their form, and they're going to stop, surely. Yeah. So these killer animal movies where they just keep going, it's like they wouldn't though, would they?
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't, maybe, an animal that you've just stabbed or whatever would
retaliate. Yeah.
Would retaliate. Of course it would. But 5 hours later.
But that's
a day later.
Exactly. That's a self-defense thing in a fight. But They don't come back for revenge.
No,
I wouldn't have thought. An animal remembers that and goes, that person stabbed me earlier. Yeah. I'm going to go back and...
Although Crawl, it was a 13.5 million budget, and I think I've read on IMDb it made like 98 million.
Really?
It's all something like that.
Wow.
I might have got the number wrong, but it was certainly quite high. I'm not surprised there's like a Crawl 2 Revenge cut on its way.
Yeah.
The Revenge of the Alligators.
It's not that old, so there might be.
But how would they that's the thing. Where would they go with it?
Yeah,
we've got a new house. We sold the house. We've got a new house.
There's a
crawl space.
Yeah.
Oh, no, there's a category 5. But there's more alligators.
Yeah, exactly. How do you take it up a notch? You can't, can you?
You can't you'd have to take it up a notch. Alligators on a boat.
Alligators in space.
Oh, yeah, because it's no longer crawl space. It's just alligators in space. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a genius.
I think I am.
How are we not making this?
It might be me and it might be the Baileys, but I'll assume it's me.
Yeah, I will just point out that Emma is on her 5th Baileys.
Nice. It's my 2nd Baileys.
Yeah, 2nd Baileys. She is drinking pints of Baileys though.
Well, yeah, but there's no measures when you're at home.
Well, quite right. You just count to 7. That's a full measure.
You just keep going until your arm aches, and then.
But the thing is, though, the ball's getting lighter, so it doesn't ache as much, unless you've been bitten by an alligator.
The glass is full then, and then it's fine. It's fine.
Right. Yeah. So let's have a look. What do we have from our categories where we do have something bad?
Props. I've got some things.
Oh yes. Okay.
So I have actually got good props, but we're talking about the bad.
Yes.
So. Please join us on the flip side because there's more notes about good stuff.
Yeah.
But bad, I've got the tool belt that Dave had because that was such a wasted opportunity. He had a whole belt full of tools, and you could have had some really inventive deaths, or at least attempted deaths of the alligators. And he doesn't use a single thing out of it, apart from the tape measure to measure the water.
At one point, though, he does prove himself quite handy with a tool. Because he's got a shovel and he kills an alligator with a shovel.
He does use the shovel, yeah.
He uses a shovel, but he doesn't utilise the tool belt.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's a very distinct part where he gets the tool belt. So you think
they make a thing of showing you the tool belt.
They've already shown us a screwdriver on the floor and then them using the screwdriver. So then they make a thing, as you say.
Yeah, they show you the tool belt, and then it's like, oh, there's going to be. Because I know I keep coming back to Snakes on the Plane. I'm sorry, but it's just it was 6 out of 5, so I've got to compare everything to it now.
It's like we went through a period of mentioning Helen all the time.
Yeah, now it's Snakes on the Plane. Every series I will go back to one film. So Snakes on the Plane, we had about 3 or 4, from what I can remember off the top of my head, inventive ways of trying to kill these snakes.
Yes.
Piranha as well had 2 or 3 you know, we had the
shotguns.
we had the
had
taser
the blender.
on both. Actually, both those movies had taser.
Yes.
We had the blender, which I loved, the propeller blender. That was perfect.
Snakes in the Plane had the microwave.
We had the microwave. We had the flamethrower thing.
The flamethrower thing. The
made out of a
bottle on the
lighter
end of a
and
stick.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Perfect.
sorts. Yes.
Very inventive, like, you know, resourceful. What have you got here? What can we make a weapon out of? Brilliant.
Yeah.
He had a tool belt.
Yep.
So it's there. You haven't even got to think. You haven't even got to make these weapons yourself.
I even said to you...
You must have a hammer and a wrench and stuff like that. Like, come on, use those things.
And I said, is he going to MacGyver his way out of this situation with this tool belt? Is he going to make something?
And he didn't. And the only thing he used out of the tool belt was the tape measure. And at one point, he just sort of held it up and you was like, what's he doing?
Yeah, he started...
What's he doing?
He pulled the tape measure out and then started
about
putting it
5
down.
inches.
And then he was like... where's it going? And then I realised, he's measuring the level of the water, and then he timed it so he could see how quick the water was rising. So he's ingenuitive. He's got, you know, but I wouldn't have thought of doing that.
No, I wouldn't have done. I would have just been sitting there barking like she was, going but did we only see the tool belt then to know that he had the tape measure on him? Because that just seems like such a wasted opportunity to me.
Yes, it really was. I agree with you.
He could have had some awesome things on that tool belt that he could have used.
It really, 100%. So I have a bad prop. So that was a bad
prop. Okay.
I have a bad prop.
What have you got?
Now, very, very early on in the movie, Haley is driving the car down to... She's in Florida as well, but she's driving down to the area that her dad is in.
Yeah.
And we see on the dashboard a little dashboard ornament, and it's a shark...
Yeah.
A little wobbly shark thing with a pair of legs sticking out of it.
Right.
And now, do you know why I think that's a bad prop?
Why?
Because it reminded me of House Shark.
Yeah.
It was just the two legs sticking out.
We didn't see House Shark's legs, but we assume he had legs because he was walking around the house.
Well, I mean, it was a shark, but there were two legs sticking out the mouth, and that made me think.
Oh, out the mouth. Oh, okay.
Yeah, out the mouth, and it made me think of the squatter that it killed with the legs sticking out. It made me think of Abraham with the legs sticking out.
Yeah.
I was having flashbacks.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
I think we probably are going to be in trauma for a few years. I mean, we might need therapy for it, but it's definitely not one I'll be watching again.
No, I know. I think it is. It did really take me back to that, and that was and one more bad prop.
Okay.
And I don't know if he would class as a prop because it's something that was eaten. So our looters going through the store are looting this little convenience store. And this is not something that happens so often in the UK. I know if you go like to a supermarket, they'll have like a bakery area and they'll have hot food.
Or services sometimes.
Yeah,
have stuff
and
like
they'll
that.
have sometimes hot food stored. But you go to a convenience store in America and there were these two very pink looking hot dogs.
Well, they looked like raw sausages, like not hot dog sausages, normal sausages.
They were frankfurters, but they looked like raw sausage.
They looked like
so
raw,
pink.
normal sausages rather than hot dogs. So I was like, so he just picked one up, didn't he, and started eating it. And I was like, why is he eating a raw sausage? And you was like, it's a hot dog. But it didn't look anything like. So the hot dogs over here are like a tan colour. They're not like pink and pasty like that.
No, they're not. Absolutely
so
not.
The only hot dogs I've ever had have been like brown.
Brownish,
not like a light brown, not pink.
I don't think I've ever seen a pink hot dog.
No.
Absolutely not. And it
like pink
it was
in
like,
the inside, aren't they? They're kind of pink when you bite into them, but they're not. But they've got the skin, haven't they? That's like a tan colour.
And I don't know. Is that a common thing in America where you have like a pink hot dog?
I don't know. They also have corn dogs that we don't have over here, don't they?
Oh, a corn dog! I want to try a corn dog.
What is on the outside of a corn dog?
It's just like a corn batter, I think. It's like a batter made out of corn flour, I imagine. So that's what I think.
They look that appetising.
I think they do.
Right.
There was one video I saw of a place that do all sorts of different flavour coatings around them, and oh my god, get in my belly, get in my actual belly.
So it doesn't appeal.
It
to
looked
me
amazing.
Well.
No, I would fly to America just to try that place's corn dogs. Just that's it.
Yeah.
Just excuse me, sir. What's your
reason for
coming to America? I'm gonna try corn dogs. Go ahead, sir. Go straight in. That's my.
What does surprise me? We're going off completely on a tangent again, like we always do. But what surprises me is when you see things that you have in America that you don't have over here. Things like M&Ms, right?
Yeah.
So I've only ever been to America once, years ago. I think I was late 20s, so yeah, we're talking a long time ago. God, a long time ago. But I went into an M&M. I went to Disneyland.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Is it Disneyland or Disney World in America? Florida?
Well, there's two. There's one on the East Coast and one on the West Coast. There's
Florida
one in Florida's Disney World.
Yeah.
It's Disneyland
So I
in
went
California.
to Disney World,
Yeah.
and there's an M&M store, and you walk
Okay.
in, and there's just tubes on the wall.
Yes.
Every single flavour you can imagine, right? And it's amazing. You go in there and you can just literally like pour out pots of M&Ms,
Yeah.
right, and buy them. And it was amazing. There was every single flavour I could think of, right? And,
He only wants the brand M&Ms.
it was like, but it was great because it was like caramel, like brownie, crispy, like peanut, all of that.
There's an M&M store in London now.
But do
does
they
the same
have?
thing.
So over here, like in the normal supermarkets and shops, that we can only get about 5 M&M flavours. But when you go to America, there's about
we? 5?
100. You can't get many over here. But in America, they have like
I thought we just
billions
had
of
the
flavours.
two. I
You
thought
can
we
get-
had the
okay, so
chocolate
these are the ones that I know
and
about.
the nut.
Ordinary chocolate,
Yeah.
peanut.
Yeah.
I think there's also there might be a different peanut one, which is like soft peanut butter.
Oh.
I think there might be one of those. I might be
Hello.
making that one up, but I think there is. So I think you've got 2 different peanut ones. You've got the crispy.
Right.
We've now got brownie, and we've got salted caramel. But in America, no, I like salt. So that's 6, right, that I know of.
Yeah.
In America, it's not salted caramel. So the ones we go over here is like a crunchy caramel.
Yes,
The ones in
okay.
America is a soft caramel.
Oh, hello.
And I brought some home from America. And when somebody at work went to
Why
America...
did I not know you then? I'd have munched them away.
So somebody went to America at work a few years ago, and I
Yeah.
said to her, get me the caramel M&Ms, but not the hard, like the soft caramel, because you can't get them over here.
Yeah.
And she got me a big bag of them, and they were gone within seconds. But
Gone in 60
what I
seconds.
don't understand is they would sell out. They would sell. Why don't
Yeah.
they? I don't understand why they don't sell the different flavours over here.
It's odd. But I think it's because at the moment the UK has a fixation with salted caramel. Now I don't mind salted caramel.
It
right?
does depend on the
But
brand.
salted
How
caramel
salty
is
it is.
everywhere, and I prefer normal caramel.
Yeah.
But also, it doesn't help once that I was in the pub once, and the pub I was in have like different drinks come in.
Yeah.
Once that's gone, it's just a different beer on.
Yeah.
And one of the beers was like a salted caramel
Oh, in
porter.
beer?
It was a
No.
dark beer, and it was salted caramel. And I thought, oh, I'm going to try it, and that really put me off salted caramel. Yeah, it really put me
Yeah.
off. Yeah. Yeah.
So you want to get the soft caramel ones. I mean, the salted
Yeah.
caramel are nice. Don't get me wrong, but the soft,
soft
caramel
caramel.
are really good.
All right.
Really good.
I am really thinking I might actually just Google soft caramel
So
M&Ms and see if I
you
can get them.
There are stores, and there are definitely online stores, but there's also little local stores sometimes sell the American products.
Yeah.
But I really like the Cheetos Crunchy, right? And you can get normal Cheetos everywhere. So they're a bit like What's-Its that we have over here.
Yeah.
But the crunchy ones, you can only get in certain places. They're like £8 a bag for normal, like a share size bag
Yeah.
of crisps.
This one here, M&M's caramel sharing pouch, $9.99.
Yeah, because they
Yeah.
have to import it.
Yeah.
So it's ridiculous. But surely M&Ms would sell.
Yeah.
We have them over here. We know them. We like them.
I tell you what, right?
We'd buy the different flavours, surely.
Why don't we have an I See Bad Movies out into the M&M shop in London?
Yeah, we could
Let's
do.
just do it.
We
Let's
can
just
see
do it.
how many flavours they've got there.
We'll be like,
I bet
yeah.
they've got more in London than they've got in Kent.
The kids will be like, can we come? No, sorry. No, it's an I See Bad Movies out.
They'll all be eating on the train.
It's a podcast. It's a podcast out with kids. You're not invited.
It's coming out of the profits of the podcast.
Anyway, talking to the podcast.
Yeah.
Shall we?
Should we get on with it?
So that's out of my categories. That's the only bad thing I had written down.
Yeah.
That's a
so
good sign for this film.
I haven't got. Yeah, that's what I mean. I haven't got that many notes for bad. I haven't got any other bad props apart from the tool belt, just because I didn't use it.
Yeah.
I have got some bad. Oh, we had special effects as well, didn't we? That
Yes,
was one
we
of our
did.
categories.
Did you have a bad special
I've got
effect?
good and bad special effects.
Oh, I know the bad special effect you're going to talk about. Yes,
Yeah.
go on.
So I thought some of the stuff was done really well, actually.
Yeah.
And I have got a good special effect, but the bad one, and I don't know if you're with me on this, but when they first showed the house, so the dad's house,
Yeah. against the background of the storm.
So you see the storm in the background. There's flood water, and the house. It just all looked like a set. It didn't look realistic to me.
Yeah, it didn't.
And it reminded me of like the Wizard of Oz, like the house in the storm. It reminded me a bit of that. It just looked a bit out of place. It didn't quite look right.
It had been picked up and put down somewhere, but it had no right to be.
It just didn't quite look right or convincing.
Yeah.
So that was my bad special effects. I just thought, I'm not buying the whole flood storm in the background.
And I don't know if it was because of like the CGI storm in the background.
Yeah, I think it might have been.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, it wasn't like CGI like winds and
the lighting
all that
and
sort of
stuff.
thing.
And the house looked like it was on one shot, and then it's very much like we've put this in.
Yeah.
It was very obvious that it had been put in.
The lighting didn't look right because of that.
Yeah, when you think of things like Sherlock Holmes, for example, most of that set is CGI.
Yes.
It's all green screen, and then they put it on CGI. When he's walking around the streets and stuff, it looks amazing.
Yes.
You would never know that wasn't real. I mean, obviously you do know it's not real building stuff because it's set 100 years ago or whatever. So you know that it's not real, but when you're watching it, you're completely convinced that is a real street he's walking down. And
yes, absolutely.
All of the buildings in the background are absolutely spot on.
Yep.
It doesn't look like the actor's been put over the top.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it's green screen at all.
Because they get it's like they spend a lot of time on the lighting.
Yes.
If the background lighting looks right and the set lighting looks right, it's very, very believable.
It's very convincing.
Yeah.
I mean, things they can do with things like Jurassic World and things like that.
Aye.
Like the latest ones. I mean, even the old ones don't look too bad now.
No, they don't.
But the recent ones, when they can do all of that, obviously they've got the budget for it, but when they can do stuff like that and you believe they're actually in front of a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Or like Sherlock Holmes, the whole set is pretty much CGI.
Aye.
And it's that convincing. When you see something like this, you're like, I've seen, it's not like back in the day when we didn't see good CGI, so we just convinced by anything. Because we were like, well, that's actually all we've seen, so nothing to compare it to.
And you get it.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're not going to film the film on location during a Category 5 storm. They've got to do it.
Yeah, they've got to do it like that.
But maybe just limit the external shots, you know?
Yeah, well, like you say, maybe it was the lighting and stuff. It just didn't quite look right. And it looked, like I say, it looked like a set. All I thought was Wizard of Oz because, the house falls down in the storm. And that's really old, so the special effects on that aren't great.
Sorry, I just had to mute myself to cough. Sorry about that.
So yeah, that was my bad special effects. Did you have anything?
It was partly to do with the storm, but it was in fact at one point you see like running water in the storm in the background, like a river that's burst its banks kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it was just like, that storm just doesn't look real. It didn't look real. It looked really fake. And don't get me wrong, it might well have been like a storm that was filmed and then,
added on.
Very
much added on.
But it was very much added on. Yeah.
And it's hard, and it's also hard to judge because we don't have hurricanes and things over here.
No, we don't.
I mean, we had one hurricane in 1987.
Oh, and
talk about the 80s again. Our school roof came off.
I came down from Scotland in 1988. Okay.
Oh, okay. And all you heard about was the hurricane.
All I heard about was the hurricane in 1987. So 1988, all I heard about was the hurricane in 1987. 1989, all we heard about was the hurricane in 1987.
Yeah.
Every single year.
Did you know who won the World Cup one year as well?
Oh, apparently, England won the World Cup one year. Yeah.
That's all they go on. When there's any football tournament on, that's all England go on about. It's like, okay, get over it. It was bloody years ago, and we haven't won it since.
No. I think isn't it at this stage 1966 is closer to the Victorian era than it is to this
now.
day.
Yeah, get over it.
Get the hell over it.
We won it once by pure fluke.
Look, I get it, right? I'm a Scotsman. We don't win anything. I'll make my point in a second though. We don't win anything. This sounds like we are, like it's bad sour grapes.
Yeah,
okay?
No, but it's just.
But it's really not.
I'm the same, but I'm English, and I'm like,
the
just get over
amount
it.
that they go on and on about it, right? Andy Murray wins Wimbledon, greatest British tennis player in the world. No. Greatest Scottish tennis player in the world. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Andy Murray's Scottish.
Yeah.
A Scotsman won Wimbledon.
But it's also how they get that. Like everyone gets their hopes up for football every single time. It's the Euros or it's the World Cup, and I'm like, it's great. Like obviously support your country, and it's great to get into it. And it does get. I watched the last World Cup and stuff. Like you do. I don't watch football at all. But when it's the World Cup and it's England,
you get into it. Yeah.
I tend to watch the big matches just because it's it is fun and it's nice to get into it.
Yeah.
But
it's the same reason we watch bad movies.
I never at any point actually think we've got a chance of winning.
No.
There's so many other countries that are so much better than us that you just know, like, we're going up against Germany. Okay, we've lost then.
Okay.
It's just.
But then you'll always get the person that goes, "Oh yeah, but see Germany."
But we won against them once.
Like, we won against them this time, and
actually, did we win against them last World Cup?
And they're not fielding their strongest team because this fella's got an injury, etc. Okay, but let's just see what happens when it goes to penalties, shall we?
Yeah, that's our downfall. Penalties, I think.
Penalties. It's almost like maybe you should practice them.
Do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know an awful lot about football, right? But I know there's a very famous English footballer called Ian Wright. Played for Arsenal, played for England, right? For the benefit of the listeners, I'm sure you know, right? And he would practice penalties every single practice session, okay? And his manager said every time, so like you're looking at the goal in front of you, okay? If you hit the side netting, it's so far over, it's really difficult for any goalkeeper to get over to it. So you're almost guaranteed a goal. And Ian Wright trained to hit that side net in every single penalty. And even to the fact that his manager said, every side net you hit, I'll give you an extra 50 quid. Yeah. Now, I imagine 50 quid was nothing to Ian Wright. But in a practice, when you're taking loads and loads of penalties, boom, boom, boom. But it's an incentive. Like, practice penalties, England. Yeah. Practice them. Get used to taking them.
Yeah.
Why are you still skyrocketing it? I'm pretty sure that who was it? Your manager, what's his name? Gary? No.
Oh, I don't know.
Gareth Southgate.
Yeah.
He missed a penalty in 1990 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that ball entered the atmosphere. What the hell, Gareth?
Football in space!
Football in space!
So, welcome to I See Bad Football.
Yeah, I know. This is as much as I know about football is watching tournaments where England lose. And of course, when you're
the England fans won't admit that we're shit.
When you're a Scotsman in the pub with your mates watching England lose all the time, there's a little bit of this like get in, but there's also a little bit like, oh, I'm sorry, lads. Oh. Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, so look, have you got any other topic to talk about? Because we've been talking for an hour and a half. Should we just be rating this movie now?
Only scene.
Oh, go on then. Because, this is important, this one.
Oh, yes. We completely missed out a whole scene, by the way.
Did we?
We completely missed the whole scene, and that's the bad scene.
No. I missed it because I know you wanted to talk. I knew you wrote it down as a bad scene, so yes.
So there was a whole scene that we didn't talk about when we were summing up the movie. Mm-hmm. And so I've just put, yet again, she outruns an alligator. Yeah. So she's outrun this alligator, and she hides in the shower.
Yes.
Is that the scene that you're thinking?
This is it.
So she hides in a shower. So this shower's got like a sliding door.
Yep.
So she gets in the shower and she just sort of waits in there for a bit. And then the alligator follows her into the bathroom.
Yep.
And then she just sits in the shower and she goes, "Come on, you son of a bitch." As if you can say to an animal, "Come on, you son of a bitch," and they get the nod. Oh, yeah, okay, I'll come in.
Oh, yeah.
So she says that, "Come on, you son of a bitch." And the alligator comes into the shower and she uses like the shower and the little shelf thing for like the soap to climb up.
Jump
and get
over
the shower. This is all like she's done this, so she's like encouraged the alligator to come in by saying, "Come on, you son of a bitch." Climbed out the shower, climbed over the top of the shower and out the other side, and then managed to slide the door across. So the alligator's got fully in, and then she slides the door across and traps the alligator in the shower. And I was just like,
"This alligator,
are you serious?"
Is bouncing back and forth. Yet this glass panel
it's like
in the shower.
Flimsy little, like it's the most flimsy little shower door you can get. I mean, you can get, I guess any shower door that you get is not going to be that sturdy. They're flimsy by nature, aren't they? Really,
they are.
So it's not that strong that it probably couldn't just bust back out of there anyway.
Yeah.
But it's the way she's just like, all right, it's quite a good idea, but it's the way she's just like, "Come on, you son of a bitch." And then he just like hears her say that and it's like, all right, then I'll come in. And then she just really quickly climbs out before he can get anywhere near her.
It was...
Again, and climbs out with all these injuries.
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay, that would happen.
Yeah. But the thing is,
the
mad thing is, it does work.
Yes.
The alligator is trapped and doesn't get out.
I know.
Ah.
Shocking.
That was quite something. That was
my only other thing, bad scene.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I know we kind of, some of the topics there, but kind of, we couldn't cover, absolutely. But, because accent, there was nothing, was there?
No.
So we can't even talk about it. So let's score this movie. Emma. Okay. I know I always come to you first, but what are you giving this movie out of 5?
I think I'm going to go 2.5 out of 5.
Oh, okay.
Because I think 2.5 because I'm torn, because I did quite enjoy watching it.
Yeah.
But it was, like I've said this so many times, but it wasn't Snakes on a Plane.
True.
I wouldn't say I'd watch it again necessarily.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sitting there thinking, oh, this is a drag watching this.
Yeah.
And there were some nice little bits and pieces. There were some nice little special effects. There was some nice little jump scares.
Mm-hmm.
So there were some nice little touches in this movie. The acting wasn't shocking. Nice little bits and pieces. But I still wouldn't say it was a great movie.
Yes.
I wouldn't be like, I'd watch this again, recommend you watch it. But yeah, so I'm sort of in the middle. I'm sort of...
Yeah, 3 stars.
2.5.
Oh, sorry, 2.5. Sorry, yeah, of course.
So bang in the middle.
That's the middle. That's the middle,
that's
isn't
the
it?
middle of 5, isn't it?
Quick maths.
You did the maths.
Yeah. I'm actually going to go 3.5 on this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I enjoyed it for it being what it was. It was unapologetically alligators under a house with 2 people, and people got offed. You think, here's some form of safety, something's going to happen. No, those people are killed.
Yeah.
And there were stupid moments like the shower screen holding back an alligator.
And the fact they've got so many injuries and just carried on.
All those stupid little bits as well. But then, I remember the joy in our voices when we're like, what? When they ended the film as well with "See you later, alligator."
Yeah.
So
that's a nice little touch.
There were little daft bits like that just made me think, you know what, this was a good bad movie. Was it a perfect good bad movie? No. But it was enjoyable. Could I watch it again? Yes, I think I could. But not that I'd be paying attention to it like we did this time. I wouldn't mind it being on with other people and having a laugh and pointing out stupid bits.
Yeah.
I'd be the guy going, oh, see this bit.
I think it all depends. It's all relative because it depends what you compare it to. If you said to me, would you watch this or House Shark again? Yeah, 100%.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
If you said, would you
watch this or
Snakes on a Plane?
Yeah.
Snakes on a Plane.
100%, yeah.
So, but yeah, I was torn between 2.5 and 3 stars because I thought, there were some nice little bits, but actually I think I'm right down the middle with this one. I know I'll never watch House Shark again. Yeah.
I guarantee it. Right? Even if all of our listeners had a poll and said one movie we had to watch again, I'd be like, no.
It's not worth it.
But I know I could watch this again and not be too...
Plus, the nice thing about this one was it was only an hour and a half, wasn't it?
Yeah, only an hour and a half.
It wasn't too long.
And it got straight into it.
Yeah, you're straight into action.
Yeah, there was maybe 10, maximum 15 minutes of setup.
You've got to have some setup. You had to know she was a swimmer.
Yeah, but you don't need 45 minutes of it.
Exactly, yeah. We knew she was a swimmer and we knew why she was going to see her dad.
Yeah, we knew they were estranged, so there's
we knew there was a hurricane between them. We knew all the essential bits.
Yeah.
Without it dragging out for hours. It was just... Okay, these are the things you need to know. Now there's some action, and that's what we like. We want to be pretty much straight in with the action because, like I say, there's no need for an in-depth story. It's just it's just deaths and jump scares, and we don't need to get into the ins and outs of their relationship and things like that. We just needed to know why she was there.
Yeah.
The fact she was a swimmer was important, obviously.
Yeah.
And that was it, and then you were straight in with some action.
Yeah, and when that first alligator popped up, I was like, I didn't expect that so soon.
Yeah.
I literally didn't. So, yeah. I think that's a solid 3.5 stars for me on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well done then. Well done.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Well done. Well done.
But as always, we love to hear people's opinions on these movies.
Absolutely.
Tell us what you thought of it. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you like me? You're on the fence. You're kind of...
Also, tell us, if you saw a movie on Amazon Prime called Crawl, would you expect it to be about alligators?
No, not at all. And actually, I asked my kids this as well.
Oh, yeah.
I said to them, so the movie we watched was called Crawl. What would you think? And Brody said straight away, creepy crawlies, like insects and stuff. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I would think.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So how surprised was he when you said, actually, it was alligators?
Yeah, and then he was asking a lot of questions. He was like, what?
What?
What do you mean? And then he told me a lot of facts about death rolls and stuff like that. So
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. But, you know, I think one of the other reasons why I haven't scored this film higher is because of the false sense of security it gives me about me being able to defeat an alligator in a one-on-one fight, especially underwater.
Yeah.
I think I'd be okay. And this movie has probably sealed my fate, because I'd be like, if they can deal with an alligator with their wounds and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, but can you swim 20 miles an hour?
Well, I can't swim 20 miles an hour, but I can certainly...
But you can do the turny thing, so you
do
won't
the
keep it
turny
sorting.
Yeah, well, I've done it once before. I'm sure I'd remember.
Once, yeah.
I just think back to my childhood.
Yeah, just have a flashback.
And when I did it, and I'd be okay.
It's fine.
You know? But yeah, I think this bad movie would probably... There would be people out there who think, oh, God, alligators are really not that much of an issue.
Yeah.
You know? And that'll be their downfall. So that's why, you know, I'm going to be very wary of any body of water, just in case there's an alligator in it. Even in the UK.
Yeah.
Alligators are not a thing.
We don't have alligators.
Yet. So you never know. All right. Well, as Emma said, please do let us know what you think of this movie.
Yeah.
If you've seen it, or if you're thinking of watching it, because I recommend that you do. I think it is worth a watch. Interact on social media, you know, leave us a little comment. And also, if you want to hear all the good bits about this, then you can join us on
The Flip Side.
And thanks everybody for listening to us waffle on about Crawl.
And football.
And football.
There's something in there for everyone.
And I think we mentioned the 80s one or two times.
Yeah. Standard.
Standard. Magic. Thanks everybody. Bye.
Bye.